Speaking of psycho libs, which I think we do every day, he's back, folks. A guy whose absurd pseudo-intellectual grandiloquence is really unsurpassed to this day. It's a combination of the talking points from HuffPo mixed with somebody's crib notes over Shakespeare, right? But here he is, Keith Olbermann, talking about how we must get rid of all of these people from society. Play 7.
Let us brace ourselves. The task is twofold. The terrorist Trump must be defeated, must be destroyed, must be devoured at the ballot box. And then he and his enablers and his supporters and his collaborators and the Mike Lees and the William Barrs and the Sean Hannitys and the Mike Pences and the Rudy Giulianis and the Kyle Rittenhouses and the Amy Coney Barretts must be prosecuted and convicted and removed from our society while we try to rebuild it and to rebuild the world Trump has nearly destroyed by turning it over to a virus. Remember it, even as we dream of a return to reality and safety and the country for which our forefathers died, that the fight is not just to win an election, but to win it by enough to chase, at least for a moment, Trump and the maggots off the stage and then try to clean up what they left.
Lock them up! Lock them up! ACB, clear them out from our society. Imprison, prosecute. Look, the problem that Keith Olbermann's going to have is that his I'm insane routine that he always does is really not that far off from the Democrat mainstream now. I mean, Chardonnay Nancy says the craziest stuff, even crazier than Olbermann every day. You know, Nancy Pelosi, the Democrats, they've gone way further left since Keith was doing his thing over at MSNBC. I just note, he was their biggest name, folks. He was their biggest name at MSNBC for years and was paid $10 million a year by Al Gore's current TV network to have never more than a few thousand viewers at a time. So when he didn't have that MSNBC platform, nobody cared anymore. But this is who the left chooses to elevate. But it's worth noting that these are the kind of lunatics who you'll be hearing a lot more from if Biden does end up winning this election. Speaking of Biden, this is great. We've been talking about the changing of the definitions of court packing and what the libs have been up to with that. Here's when Joe Biden is asked by a local reporter about court packing. This is amazing. I mean, he's just saying stuff now. You go, what does he think he's doing? Play 1.
Well, you've been asked by the viewers who are probably Republicans who don't want me continuing to talk about what they're doing to the court right now.
Well, sir, don't the voters deserve to know?
No, they don't. I'm not going to play his game. He'd love me to talk about, and I've already said something on court pack. He'd love that to be the discussion instead of what he's doing now. He's about to make a pick in the middle of an election. First time it's ever been done. First time in history it's ever been done.
It's just lies. Evasions. It's absurd. This is the guy who wants to be president. Was there ever anything where Trump was asked what he would do if he became president in 2016? He goes, that would be a really big story, but I'm not going to answer it because it would be a big story. Liberals' heads would have exploded and they would have been right. Biden is telling you straight up, no, you don't deserve to know the answer on this because this will help the other side. Me telling the other side what I would do would help them, therefore, or me telling the American people, therefore, I have no obligation. I have an obligation to be evasive, to lie, to be untrustworthy to the American people. Oh, I'm so glad. And this is so funny, too. What they're doing right now is packing the court. See, there's the talking points. The media gets their talking points. Just conflate everything. Pretend like words have no meaning. This is court packing. That's court packing. Everything is court packing. Muddy the waters. Make it hard to discern what's actually happening and what's true for people who are just casually trying to observe politics and governance in America. And by changing the way that they use these words, that's what ends up happening. It's very difficult to separate it out. That's what we see here. Oh, you don't have a right to know. You don't have a right to know. And then there's Chuck Schumer just letting you know that this is straight up transactional. I mean, this is really just about politics for the Democrats. Play 4.
The Republicans are rushing this through. As you know, it's totally hypocritical. That will be a second theme we will mention today after they held back Merrick Garland 8 months before a presidential election. And we know why they're doing it. The number one reason is to get someone on the bench who will undo so many of the things people need and turn the clock back. They can't do it themselves. They're afraid to do it themselves, although a lot of these Republicans voted 8 or 9 times to repeal ACA. And so they're trying to get the courts to do it. And I think the American people will look very unkindly on it.
Yeah. Political stuff, Chuck Schumer's telling you. That's what the real draw is here. That's the real reason for all of this. Everything else is just blah, 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 blather. It is sheer nincompoopery. They have no process argument, no constitutional, no legal argument against this. So they're just going to throw everything they've got at the wall, see what sticks. And let's just all get ready for this. Amy Coney Barrett. Oh my, it's going to be quite a sight when the Democrat Party wages all-out war on this eminently qualified, brilliant, deeply impressive mother of 7. But it's the party of feminism, they tell you, folks. Sure it is. Hey, Team Buck, thank you so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you like this video, please click that little thumbs up button so then it will log as liked. And also, if you want to see more great content from The First, please click subscribe.